Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome again to a new live stream. This time I said I'm going to make a little idea and truth is that's just a very bad joke. What we're going to make is a little add-on for this power supply box we made last month, and it's just going to be a very decorative, nice little light bulb. And yeah, if you're familiar with graphic novels and stuff, you know that lighting a light bulb is the symbol of having an idea. So we will have a nice little socket, which will look very cool, and a very neat little sign, which says idea on it. And whenever you need an idea, you can just flick this switch here, and then the light bulb lights up, and yeah, hopefully then you will have an idea. Okay, so that's today's project. Because it's not that complicated, I'm maybe going to build two pairs, like one with an English and one with a German sign, but we will see. Maybe if something takes longer, I just leave it as one piece. Okay, so before we get started, I want to thank all my music friends who were kind enough to allow me to play their music. So that's a big thanks to Billy Rubin, Maurice Trench, Reptile Juice and Ariel my friend. If you like anything from what you hear, links to their bandcamps are in the description. And yeah, as usual, feel free to leave comments in the chat on Twitch or YouTube. I hope I will see them in time this time. Maybe someone can leave a little greet so I can see that everything works. And I will probably switch around between talking and building again, because multitasking is difficult, especially when working with machines and stuff. Okay, so this time it's not very much metal work, it's also a bit of woodworking, and I already prepared a nice block of wood we can work with, because squaring and preparing a piece of wood is very boring, so I already did this. And yeah, we will also start with some wood machining. Maybe let's bring up the construction again. So here it is. That's how the thing will look we're going to build today. So on the right you can see all the pieces. It's only 3 laser cut metal pieces this time and 1 laser cut wood piece for the bottom, where the power connection will be, and the main socket we're going to make from this block of walnut wood this time. But yeah, the project also requires a lot of other parts. I got some really nice tiny head nuts. Not sure, is that the English phrase as well? Those nuts with a round enclosed side basically. And yeah, two bulb sockets and bulbs, and a little piece of printed a printed sign which says idea or idee. Yeah, so and the main socket connector which plugs into the power outlet of the little box. So yeah, lots of different pieces this time, but not as much brass as usual. Is there anything else? I don't think so. So let's get started with the first step, which will be machining the bottom side of this little socket, which will have a little dip to house all the electronics and connections. It's not very much, but yeah, it will have a flat bottom, and everything which needs to go inside will be inside the block. So yeah, I'm just going to use a normal end mill and remove some material from one side here. And yeah, that's going to be our first step. So let's get started. Over there.
And as proof, I present you now with this next section. I don't even care. I don't even care. I don't even care. I don't give a damn. Talking in language doesn't make sense. Playing hide and seek with my declining confidence. Going in rounds, you can never see the point. Located in the center between my wrist and my joint. Pink, smoke, contaminates the air. I'm breathing only numbers, what do you care? When the microphone's dark with an asthma attack, respect is too neglected and I'm trying to go back to where I don't even care. And it sounds like
Okay, so the machining for this video is already over now. Yeah, let me show you what we did. Just a second. Yeah, I machined basically 2 of these slots here with a deeper slot in the center and drilled 2 holes each time. And these are going to be 2 sockets for the light bulbs, because yeah, as I said, we're going to make two things this time, one with a German sign, one with an English sign. Yeah, so that's this. And now we have to deburr these edges, because yeah, the mill usually leaves very rough edges. And yeah, it can be hard to reach inside all of these corners, but I found that actually one of these die grinders here works quite well for deburring wood as well. So that's basically what we're going to use for this step. And let's see, there's a comment, false D-channel too. Hey, great to see you as well. Nice you tuned in. Okay, so I will try to prepare basically everything from these sockets before cutting them in parts, because it's much easier to work on a bigger piece of wood than on the small ones. So yeah, next up will be deburring of the edges, and then I will go over to my wood vise and clamp the thing like this. And I'm missing a word. I will make the angled edges here using a... You will know what I mean when you see the tool. This wood removal tool thingy. How's it called? You will see. Okay. So let me quickly change the cameras around and get started with the next step.
Sećam se njegove face, kako Gritko se bude na drugo i slušao kako se neki priča i bio je zajedno sa mene da bi
Cosmic can be spontaneously landing in a glass full of coke.
Oh no, hopefully the cable isn't too short.
Bring me to my knees, 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 bring me to my knees. Do we
begins, you pay no attention. After a few breaths, it has your attention. Your head rises, the connection is born. We acknowledge the introduction is sometimes enough to understand the value of personal experience. There are such pieces of art that change lives permanently. They may be a person, A, B, B1, R2D2, essential need, attachment. It's the drive to connect. It's no problem.
Got a friend who wants to die. She'd be never classified to own decision, but I told her I'd cry. Still my friend, she wants to die. I don't wanna deal with it. I don't wanna deal with it. I want a friend that will never die. I don't wanna handle it. Now I've got some bills to pay. I work 9 hours a day. Feels like I'm burning my little life away. But I'm broke, what can I say? I don't wanna deal with it. I don't wanna deal with it.
Okay, so you saw me at those two edges to the sockets manually using a, I don't know how it's called, maybe scraper. Please let me know, I'm just missing a word right now. But yeah, I did this manually, and I had the big tool to remove the most part of the material, and then a really tiny one, which is usually used by instrument makers, this one here. And that's a really nice little tool because I can remove very little material very precisely, and it's also extremely sharp, so it leaves a really nice surface finish on the wood. And this particular piece was actually built by my grandfather, who was a tools maker. It's also possible to buy these, but I think it's really nice to have this little tool from him and use it on every occasion. Okay. So that's basically the preparation for the sockets. Next I will cut them to length, just using a saw. It's very difficult for me without automatic saws to produce a very clean cut. I will try my best, but probably will have to sand these ends a bit to get them nice. And before that I will mark the sawing angles using this angle tool here. And sorry for the sun hitting the working spot directly at the beginning. I then put up a piece of cardboard to the window so you could actually see what I'm doing. I really like having a workshop with a lot of window area to have some daylight coming in. It's really cozy, but for live streaming sometimes it sucks because the cameras just don't see nothing. Like this white spot there behind me, that's a piece of window hitting directly. Wood planer, yeah, Hobel, exactly. Thank you very much, yeah. Yeah, from time to time I like to use planers and manual woodworking, but I'm not that good in it compared to my metalwork. When I built the other little idea lamps for my Patreon supporters, I had 3 major screw ups. One was this thing here. You can see it's. Yeah, I planed the wrong angle basically and didn't end up with the shape I wanted, so that's a scrap piece. And I have another scrap one where I just screwed up the other edges here. Hope you can see that, yeah. And was too close to the hole on top, and yeah, it's ugly. And yeah, so lots of screw ups with manual woodworking and me. Maybe it's just bad luck, or I should practice a bit more, but quite often things don't work out as planned. False D. Changel says, hoping to purchase one of your eye catchers for Christmas. Great idea! Thank you very much for considering that. I was also thinking about maybe doing a little Christmas sale and putting up all the things I made in the recent live streams. Must admit I was a bit lazy keeping the webshop up to date, but yeah, I really want to fill it with new stuff for Christmas. And yeah, maybe you have to be quick for the eye catchers because there are only 3 ones left, and one is reserved for the person who gave me the glass eyes. So actually only 2 for sale, just so you know. Okay, now let's start with the off-cutting of those pieces. Which camera are we going to use for this? Maybe this one. sorry for the long drawing. I had to figure that out for myself. Okay, so the 4 little sockets are prepared. One turned out a bit longer than the other one, but that's fine. I mean, it's handcrafted and I just eyeballed the length. I think the important thing is that the 2 holes are kind of in the center of the socket's top, and that is. So I think it's fine like this. Now for the next step, I am going to use some sandpaper and put these on top of it. Let me quickly adjust the camera. Like this, and sanding over those sawed edges here, so those are as smooth as the planed ones. And I'm going to use a file to deburr those edges here and introduce a nice little angle. But I will probably do this after sanding, and I will probably go over all the edges real quickly, so it's a really nice to the touch piece of wood. So yeah, that's next.
bathroom is a private place where we allow the whiteness to merge ceramic skin. When the bathroom is cold, the toilet seat is cold, the ass feels deliciously wet. And a strong sun somewhere out there, rising and setting. Rising and setting. Rising and setting. My roommate has bought a sprinkler for anal cleansing or cleansing. I call it aftershit. 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 And cold. And cold. This hard meadow is dangerous for our lives. I heard that the school teacher's daughter had thrown a hairdryer in a tub full of river.
Lokomophilov
Died while shaking
seems
it.
reminded of these unintentional ASMR channels. Yeah, sorry it takes a while. Hopefully you can, hopefully you like the sounds of sanding wood. Maybe it sounds a bit dry, like fingernails on blackboard or something. I hope it's your pleasure. Especially those ends are nasty, because I have to remove quite a bit of material to get rid of all the saw marks, and yeah, I wish I would have a belt grinder, but that's still on the wish list if someone has a spare. But yeah, for now it's just manual work to get this removed. Getting hotter and hotter in here. Wonder if it's the sun or all the lights I'm having turned on. Anyways, the two sockets are kind of prepared. And yeah, here they are. Yeah, nice, smooth and sanded over all the surfaces, except the recess down here, but that doesn't need to be very smooth because we're going to set in this extra plate of wood anyway here, so it doesn't matter if it's rough down here. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is oiling those two parts, because we're done with them basically, and yeah, we want to give the oil some time to sink into the wood before we continue assembling the thing. So that's what I'm going to do now. Let me quickly get some pieces of toilet paper I'm using as workshop towels. So here we are. And the oil I'm going to use for this job is this Chinese tung oil. I don't know much about it, but it's a natural product and it's one of those hardening oils, meaning that it goes into the wood and then dries like a varnish or something. It leaves a hard surface of the wood, and so yeah, this is quite good for things which get handled, and yeah, it doesn't evaporate over time. Yeah, it leaves a really nice wood finish. So that's what I'm going to use, and I'm going to use a tiny brush to apply it over the piece. Give it some time to soak in, and then wipe it off with the toilet papers here. So let's get started with this now. Some light in here. What? No! Damn it. Got it on my clothes. That's not good. Because you don't want to have the drying oil in your clothes, or they will get all crusty. Whatever. Can't change that now. Okay. Can already see quite a big difference in the color before and after. And yeah, especially with dark woods, oil really helps to get out the nice color. So yeah, let's do the second one as well, and in the meantime the first one can soak in. While these are soaking in, False D Jungle 2 says, I know it was years ago, but your typewriter is beautifully crafted and magical to see built, especially because you designed it as you worked. Yeah, thank you very much. It's still in use actually. There are still 2 shots I want to do with it, some close-ups of the human typing. And I think it will also be featured in some more future making-offs. I have a ton of footage from the office set, and I just never found time to make a video about this set. But maybe when we actually do the last shot on this set, then maybe is the last good occasion to make a video about that thing. So hopefully it will happen. And yeah, there's much more footage. I don't want to spoil everything which is in the movie, but yeah, thank you very much. It was also a very fun project, and I hope to do similar things in the future again. There will be some more robot creatures at some point, which I'm also really looking forward to. But yeah, overall, most things from the movies are done. And in the back of my head, I'm already thinking about what's the next big thing to build. And there are some ideas, but it will take some time for them to develop. And also, yeah, the movie needs to be finished first. But maybe to give those wood pieces a bit more time to soak in, I can show you something else. Thing is, this month I visited my city set at my parents' place for the last time, and then it was transported, picked up by someone, and it's going into a collection now. I will tell you a bit more about this in this month's update. But I also returned the big giant clock which was in the office set, and now after, let's think, it's with me for the first time in like 6 or 7 years, and I have it on my bench right back. And yeah, I will also maybe show a bit more of it in this month's update, but maybe let's give you a little sneak peek, because that's also a very old project and I'm a bit proud of it, so let's show it to you. To be honest, it's much older than the typewriter, and it's built with much more crude tools, not as sophisticated, but still I think it's a rather cool piece, especially when it's in motion. And I shot in my hand for scale. I shot all the scenes for the movie with this thing, but I probably want to make a couple more little close-ups or give animations for my patrons with it, because it's just so gorgeous if everything is in motion here. And yeah, it will also appear in another movie scene, but only as a background object there. Yeah, little sneak peek for this thing. And you might wonder, it looked quite different in the movie. That's because it had this piece in front of it to show the time actually. And here we have the hand of the clock, which was in front of it as well. So yeah, many old projects returning to my workshop, and it's a good sign because it means more and more of the movie is actually finished. And yeah, I can't wait to shoot the last scene and put everything into an exhibition or something. Yeah, time will come. Okay, now let's return to the tiny projects for now. At least those get finished in time. And yeah, maybe now it's a good time to wipe off those little sockets here. False Jungle, the intricacy is awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, I really like the look still after years. Today I could build it much more sophisticated and better, but yeah, it was definitely one of the learning projects. And yeah, quite fun. I really hope there will be a major exhibition of all the stuff from the movie at some point. Okay, so now that the wood is basically finished, let's take a look at the next pieces, which will be metal ones. Maybe let's have another look at the construction right here. Yeah, the thing is, I don't want it to have any visible wires. So like with the Frankenstein switch, I designed basically all the wiring as solid brass pieces. So the lamp is kind of floating above the socket, above the wooden stand, and is connected by two bent brass parts, which in turn are connected to the little head nuts and going down to the socket connection. And yeah, you can see the two brass parts to the sides, one with the big ring, and the ring is intended to hold the light bulb socket, while the small piece is intended to go on the bottom of those little bulb sockets. And yeah, the thing is, yeah, I have some laser cut parts for those as well, and they have to be bent, of course. And if you remember from the eye catcher live stream, or what else, I think that's mostly it. But and from last time when we built the Frankenstein switch, that the type of brass alloy they are using for laser cutting and thread cutting, it's nice for filing and milling, but it's not good for bending. It's really brittle, and if you make a 90-degree bend, there's a high chance it breaks. But I found a way to make it work, and that's just to heat the brass to a red hot state and let it cool down again, and this softens the material so it can be bent much more easily. So yeah, let's remove the needed brass parts from the laser cut sheet and put it on our stone and heat it thoroughly so it glows through the entire thing and makes everything nice and smooth to bend. Let's see. Here are our laser cut parts again, and the ones we're interested in is this one down here with the hole. Maybe I can get a bit closer so you're actually seeing something. Just a second. Right here. So there's the first part we're going to need, and the second one is right here. You can already see the socket from the little jeweler's saw we already made, and inside it, here's the part we're going to need now. So yeah, let's remove those. So, these are the two parts, very tiny, and as I said, we're going to make 2 idea lamps today, so those are another pair of parts I already removed, and those were already glowing hot to make them soft. And you can also see the color difference, or maybe you can, it's a bit tiny. Can't get much closer right here with this lens, but yeah, they get oxidized from the flame and have to be cleaned again, but we would have to do this anyways, so yeah, it doesn't matter too much. And also I think I'm going to torch all of them again, because I'm not sure if this softening effect holds up over weeks. I experienced with copper that it over time gets brittle again, also without hammering it or anything, so yeah, better be sure and make it soft again. Just a second, I'm trying to get the stone out. I have too much stuff here in my arm's reach. Okay, here we have it. Move that scrap. Here we have our pieces. Right here. Yeah, with brass it's easy because we can just heat it and let it cool off rather quickly. Because brass cannot be hardened and so it stays soft after warming. But with steel I have to do it in the oven, because yeah, even on air small parts like these cool down so quickly that they would get hardened again, basically. But yeah, brass is much easier. So yeah, let's heat them. Yeah, that should have done the trick. I don't want to burn myself, so I let them cool for a while now. Let me think about the next step for now. I have these little sockets here, and that's basically what we are going to solder to these brass parts. Like the ring is going over the top, and the small thing is connecting from the bottom. And yeah, we're going to use normal electric solder for this, to don't ruin the socket's insulation and stuff. But yeah, I think before we can do this, we have to clean those parts. And I'm only going to bend them after they are soldered to the sockets, because it's much easier to solder them than they are flat, because yeah, you will see how I do it. And also I decided to use those little sockets instead of soldering the lamps directly into the contraption, and that's just so you can replace the lamp. And I maybe even have other ideas for the future which could screw into the sockets besides the lamp. So yeah, I wanted the possibility of replacing the lamp with another lamp or with something completely different. And yeah, also these are incandescent light bulbs, so they actually can break, and it would be a shame if someone's miniature is ruined just because the light bulb burns through. So yeah, let's use an extra socket. Okay, this is going to approach a temperature I can handle, I think. So next up will be cleaning up those parts, and then I'm going to punch in my little hole mark right here on the circular section of these pieces. Maybe let's switch to that camera again and show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, right here is this little circular section on the long piece, and that is intended for my little logo. So I will punch that in, and yeah, then clean it and head off to the soldering station. Yeah, I think if I remove those now from the stone, they are cool enough to handle. And yeah, let's put this one away again. Oh yeah, let's continue with this endeavor.
the way down to the river, to the river.
Oh no, I forgot an important step before we are off to the soldering. With the filing, I only removed the rough crust of oxide from the burning, but of course that's not the entire cleanup process. I will brush it with a little Scotch-Brite wheel again, and also what I have to do is clean the inside of these little rings, because else the soldering the solder will not flow in, because it's repelled by the oxide in here. So I will use a special tool to clean the inside of this ring. The outside is not that important.
You are a beautiful Japanese sea, and I love you. Those fluffy treetops, falling all the way down to the river. Falling all the way down to the river.
Okay, so now for the cleaning of the inside of these holes, I have those special little polishing cylinders from a Kratex-like material, like abrasive rubber, and this fits inside here, and I'm just going around the circle a couple of times. One. and 2. Okay. Now, finally, off to the soldering. See you there. Is the camera free? Yeah. Okay, see you there.
Just fucking die! Just fucking die! Seriously, phones are fucking off.
time. Sorry.
To lose all your cards, it's no good, it's no fun. To lose all your cards, it's no good, it's no fun. To lose all your cards, it's no good, it's no fun. To lose all your cards, it's no good, it's no fun.
Your credit card, driver's license, ID, medical card, student card. Your whole wallet, actually. Everything's gone. It's not good and it's not fun at all. You have to renew all of these cards all over again. It's a pain in the butt. It's a real pickle. You're in a doozy McBoozy. Good night.
Finally woke
Okay. So, the brass parts are soldered onto the little light sockets. Some words regarding the soldering. First of all, I was using the soldering iron at a much higher temperature than I would do for soldering electronics, because in this case the iron has to heat up the entire socket plus the brass part, which is basically a giant heat sink. So instead of using it at like 300 degrees, which I use for electronics, this was set to, I think, 420 or something. So yeah, much more heat. And still it took quite some time for the entire socket and the large brass part to heat up. So yeah, it's a bit tricky. And then for heating up, you have to make sure that you have a bit of solder on the tip of your soldering iron, which touches both the socket and the brass part, because the heat from the soldering iron only spreads through the solder, and yeah, for heating up you kind of have to touch both the materials with a bit of liquid, so that can be quite tricky. And then I worked my way around the socket and put in a bit of solder everywhere and watched it flow in. But still there are regions where it flowed in really smoothly and didn't leave much visible solder on the outside, but especially the region which I initially used to touch the soldering iron to the two materials looks quite a bit nasty. I will show a close-up later, because it's still covered completely in solder and stuff. And that's also the reason I use the lower side of this socket assembly, which will be on the bottom later, because yeah, that way the top side, which will be much more visible, is quite clean. So that's that. And for the little part, the center connection of these sockets was completely oxidized. It was merely black. So to have a nice soldering area, I first used a little file to make a fresh, clean area of it, and then directly attached some new solder and did the same thing on the brass part. And then I only had to melt the two already covered with solder parts together, which is a quite quick step. The first time, for some reason, took a couple of tries, and I don't know why, but probably I was holding it wrongly or something. Okay, and of course from connecting the bottom part and the socket, there's also some solder remaining on the underside, so I'm going to file over that really quickly again. And yeah, everything will be slightly polished again with the Scotch-Brite wheel later. But before we return to this socket, let's use the soldering setup for another important part, and that is the little power outlet. And you can see it here on the right side. I prepared some laser cut wood pieces for the bottom side, which says 9 to 12 volt, so that you know what to hook up, plus my little logo and 2020. It was some room left, so yeah, I inserted this. And yeah, in the center hole there will be a little plug which goes to the power connection, and the holes on the side are used for wiring and screwing the entire thing together. Maybe you'll get a bit of a better idea how everything is hooked up from this image. If you look on the bottom, the thin sheet is basically the laser cut wood piece. In the center is the plug, the power connection, and the red and blue lines are how the wiring is intended to go from the power socket to the 2 screws and up to the lamp. So yeah, I'm going to prepare these 2 laser cut wood pieces now as well at the soldering station. See you there.
There is no easy way. No matter what I do, somebody gets hurt. Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want?
What do you want?
I never knew what it meant to have a mental illness until I read the signs on the wall. We should talk about mental health. 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 I never knew what it meant to have a mental illness until I went to the club and I heard.
What do you want?
What do you want?
Take your medicine. 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 Take your medicine.
When the fat man collapsed, they started to laugh. Look at him down. Every romance that he's ever had has failed, but you see, it's not his fault. It's what he's been taught. Said I'm gonna
Make some changes in my life. I'm gonna throw out something.
Okay, so now sockets plus also the power outlets and the buttons with the laser cut wood part are prepared. Maybe let's take a close-up look. So this is one of the sockets, that's the bottom side, and yeah, those are the wires which are connected to the pins here. And if you're wondering where I got those little uninsulated nice shiny wires, those are just the end pieces from resistors. So yeah, kind of recycled material. And yeah, that bend of on the end, that's basically where the screw will go down and the screw's head will press against the wire to make a connection. And I made sure to bend the wire in such a direction so that the screw, when it's tightened, also pulls on the wire and not pushes it out. So that makes sure it's a solid connection. Okay. So yeah, that's this, and the bottom side is not visible. It may be ugly, but yeah, that's okay. And also let's have another close-up look at the sockets. As I said, the top side is quite clean. You can see just the solder coming through the slit, but that's fine. That's just what a good connection takes. But the bottom side here, on this side it's quite nice, but then on the other side here where I touched the soldering iron, it's quite messy, you can see. And I will quickly go over with the file over these regions just to at least round it off, and then go over it with a polishing wheel and call it good enough. Because I think if you can see the solder, that's fine, that's just how it's built. I only mostly want to remove all this yellow flux stuff and also the overall roughness. Okay, and after that I'm going to bend those pieces here and the big one as well in the vise. So yeah, that's what's up next. Whoop. And hello Nutmeg, you're telling me your work is so inspiring. Thank you so much. What was inspired by my work? Did you do something? I would love to hear any stories from things which were inspired by it. But yeah, I also really like to spread ideas, and I myself, I'm inspired by many other peoples and things I see, and yeah, it's just a joy to throw ideas around and share them. Thank you so much.
He had to wait.
So yeah, off to some cleaning up.
He did.
Like pieces
It doesn't matter who you meet, no one will stay forever. Get yourself together, 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 get yourself together.
Okay, so the two sockets are bent in shape and they are basically ready. And the lower side is ready, so I think yeah, we're overall ready to assemble the thing. So let's take one of our wooden sockets. How can I show this best? Let me think. Maybe using having this camera again. I'm working here. Can you see this? Okay-ish. Okay, so I will try to assemble this now, and I hope you can see at least some of it. Because yeah, it's all a bit small and hard to capture on camera. Maybe let's mark the spot that is visible. That looks nice. Okay, so let's assemble it here. One last thing, I have to go over the edges of these laser cut parts with a file again, because from the experience of the other pairs I built, I know they are slightly oversized, and if I have to squeeze them into the bottoms of those wooden stands, then it doesn't look that nice. So yeah, I'm just going quickly over the edges with a bit of pressure to make it just a tiny bit smaller again. It's rather easy because it's just a 1 millimeter sheet of plywood, very thin. So yeah, shouldn't take too long. And then we can assemble it. Okay, so this goes down here, and yes, now it fits nicely. And then I have this long screws, which should perfectly line up with the holes I drilled in the beginning. Nice, like this, yes. And they should just a tiny bit show up a tiny bit here on the top. Very nice. Okay, and that's where we are going to put the bulb assembly, like this, and then going to use one of these tiny head nuts and screw it over the little piece of screw which is still visible, like this. We'll tighten everything later, and then there will be much more engagement between the screw and the nut. It's just the beginning which is a bit difficult. Okay, like this, got it. And now I'm holding the nut with this pair of parallel clamps, pliers, and going to tighten the screw from the bottom quite thoroughly. Number one. Oops. And number two. And this also creates an electrical connection from the bottom socket here through the wood to the top. Okay, so that's nice. Assembly number one. And then let's do the exact same thing for the second pair again. but I will try to get you a bit more of a closer view on this. It's not easy. I'll try my best. Okay. Hopefully that will work. If I look behind me, then that's just because I want to check if what I'm doing is in frame. Okay, so yeah, making the wooden edges a bit smaller again. Come on, don't destroy it.
I must console myself with the reflection that the nature of the subject is evidently responsible for this, rather than any preference of my own.
Might have an ability to do things as they are supposed to be done, learning things that have a pattern. Language grammar, like orthography, or logical sense like cacography. Physics, for example, visualize, understand, remember pattern.
Free speech. It's giving cryptography or landers. Autobiography. Free speech. Gift giving. Muddy water. When waves get shorter.
So let's hope this fits as perfectly as the first pair.
Au revoir, dream world. Tell me, can't you see us perfectly curled? How we desperately defy, blocked under seemingly blue and open sky.
Very nice. Okay. Now for the
Can't you
screws.
see us perfectly curled?
1,
Can't you see us perfectly curled?
2. And top side. And putting on the bulb assembly. Come on, like this. Okay.
Sensitive sensors, normal amount of suffering, normal amount of suffering. Sensitive sensors, normal amount of suffering.
One.
I must console myself. With the reflection. That the nature of the subject.
Okay. Here we are.
Is evidently
Two
responsible
nice
for this.
sockets with the
Rather than
light
any
bulb
preference of my own.
socket on top. Yeah, that's the main part. Now we want to add a nice little sign here. And also one detail which I think is quite nice, but wasn't originally planned. This plywood sheet I ordered at 1mm is not actually 1mm in thickness, but more like 1.2mm. So now the little plug thingy here is just a smidge too tall for it to rest smoothly on the battery box. So yeah, what I decided to do is add a tiny little brass nail in each of these edges, like 4 little high spots where it can rest on, and it looks really neat. Also prevents it from being loose on the socket. But yeah, that's an extra detail which wasn't planned. So now what I'm going to do is drill the 4 holes for the tiny brass nails and put them in, and also drill the holes on the front for this little sign border thingy here, sign frame, whatever. I also have another one of these I'm going to take out from the laser cut sheet metal, and yeah, drill 2 holes below here for 2 screws which will attach this together with the lettering. Okay, so these are going to be the next steps. And before resuming with the work, I have a new comment from False D Jungle 2. Hot dog, your craftsmanship is so neat. Who's hot dog? Yeah, thank you so much. Not sure what the hot dog means, but yeah, thank you very much, I'm honored. Now let's continue with this endeavor here. Yeah, maybe continue using this camera.
Themselves while they wallow in the I don't really care cause they're talking fucking shit, talking fucking shit, talking fucking shit. I don't really care cause they're talking fucking shit, talking fucking shit, talking fucking shit. I don't really care cause they're talking fucking shit. Hobgoblins in the town, they seem so surprised when I had to tell them about the forest of ice. They shrug their wrinkly noses, piercing glance in the eyes. I don't think they're gonna ask for welfare regressions and faces outcry. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend, my friend. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend, my friend. Hobgoblins in my town, what do they aspire? Do they seek for answers? What is their desire? Hoodlums everywhere you look, everywhere you can go. Reading the lies that were in the mail this morning, now off you go. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend, my friend. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend, my friend. Hobgoblins in their gardens enrich the soil with substrates. Calling the neighbors a fucking face, and fuck that face. Fungicides, pesticides, on the lawn and I'm with it. Fungicides and pesticides, I don't know who did decide. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend, my friend. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend. Dawn of the day, dawn of the day, my friend, my friend.
Okay, I cut the tip off of some of these little nails just to make them a bit shorter because the wooden stands aren't that big. And also I pre-drilled the holes slightly undersized for these nails, so I don't have to nail them in really, because I think that really would destroy the wooden stands. So now I just have to very gently hammer them in without much force, and then we have some nice little feet. Okay. So how do I hammer these in? Because yeah, I can't put the thing like on top of this, and the best idea would have been to do this before adding all the assembly, of course, but yeah, you know how it is. You forget things, or at least I do, and then you have to find workarounds. And what really works well is just to open the vise to a point where the assembly fits in, but the wooden block is still supported on both sides, like this. And then, to protect the wood, put a piece of paper on both sides, like this. And that's enough to very gently hammer these things in. So yeah, let's prepare this here and then zoom in on the other camera so you can also see what I'm doing. Maybe we can get a bit closer with the tripod altogether. Like this. And maybe switch them around. Okay, let's hammer. very sorry. Constantly losing my paper strips because they're a bit too big. I feel like an idiot. So now, okay, 3.
Bad thoughts in her head about me, head about me, head about me. Bad thoughts in her head about me, but she wouldn't say. One morning we walked along in the park, hand in hand. Actually it was alright, but something was a bit strange. I was talking all along, telling her about my song, but she was quieter than air. I wonder what went wrong. Bad thoughts in her head about me, head about me, head about me. Bad thoughts in her head about me, but she wouldn't say. We went to a movie once. It was fun, well at least for me. I looked at her to see. She was looking so annoyed, and I was lucky to avoid the punch she threw right in my face. I would have been destroyed. Bad thoughts in her head about me, head about me, head about me. Bad thoughts in her head about me, but she wouldn't say. Heard some noises the other night. It was strange cause it wasn't me. Wondered what it's all about. I had to check it out. I walked to the kitchen so worried about my quality of life, when suddenly she grabbed my neck, holding a 10-inch knife. Well, bad thoughts in her head about me, head about me, head about me. Bad thoughts in her head about me, but she wouldn't say. Bad thoughts in her head about me, head about me, head about me. It's just a narcolepsy, but she wouldn't say. But she wouldn't say. But she wouldn't say.
Christ.
Fungal funnel in my heart. Pesticides, pesticides. Such a beautiful
Okay, I have added the little brass nails as feet for the wooden stands, so that looks nice. And I also pre-drilled the holes to attach this little tiny frames here. And Manny Duran asks how to make that photo engraving, and I'm not sure what you mean, but I think you mean these little frames, because I showed the big plate where it came from, and you're probably assuming that it was etched or some kind of chemical process. But yeah, the big sheet was laser cut. That's something I'm using quite often, similar to this one as well. Yeah, I construct all the parts I need as DXF files and send them to a company who does fine laser cutting of metals. That's a process I can't really do at home, and the machines are completely unaffordable. But yeah, you can get really precise cutouts of thin sheet metal with this process, and I really like to use it to get my rough parts. Yeah, I hope this answers the question. Yeah, I am now going to cut a tiny thread into the pre-drilled holes just to make it easier to get the screws in. With wood parts you can sometimes get away just squeezing the screw in and letting it cut its thread itself, but it's still easier if you cut a thread. And especially in combination with the hardening tung oil we used on the wood, it really works with tiny threads as well. If they don't need to be very strong, this little frame will be thoroughly attached. So yeah, we cut the tiny threads in the wood and then polish the frames and cut out the little tags we're going to incorporate. The last time I ordered postcards for my Patreon supporters, I ordered one motif where I just had different tags and symbols on it I'm going to use for different miniatures. So that is basically a piece of postcard which has idea and Idee, the German version, on it in different sizes. So I could use the size that fits best. Turns out the biggest size fits best, and yeah, I'm just going to cut out the little sign with scissors and yeah, lay it under the brass frame and screw everything together. So those will be the next steps. How do I show this the best? Maybe using this angle again.
Little spider turns into a bigger spider, takes off its skin and its grown. Take a look at my skin, I am no longer there. An empty shell, an empty hole. Little spider turns into a bigger spider, takes off its skin and its grown. Take a look at my skin, I am no longer there. An empty shell, an empty hole. You turn around when you hear a roar coming from the depth of your drawer. your surprise. Are the cheetah and tiger from before? Check this out, see successively. I have sound and I have velocity. Don't edges yet, far ahead. And of being young too, we're not afraid. We're not afraid of growing old. There's a time and a place for us to be. We're not afraid of getting cold. It's a nature symphony. We're not afraid of growing old. There's a time and a place for us to be. We're not afraid of getting cold. It's a nature symphony. Little spider turns into a bigger spider. Takes off its skin and it's grow. Take a look at my skin, I am no longer there. An empty shell, an empty hole. Little spider turns into a bigger spider. Takes off its skin and it's grow. Take a look at my skin, I am no longer there. An empty shell, an empty hole. Little spider turns into a bigger spider. Takes off its skin and it's grown. Take a look at my skin, I am no longer there. An empty shell, an empty hole. Little spider turns into a bigger spider. Little spider turns into a monster spider. Takes off its skin and it's grown. Take a look at my skin, I am no longer there. An empty shell, an empty hole. Please don't eat the animals. Animals are our friends. There's a lot of other things you can eat. Please don't eat our friends. Please don't feed on the animals. It is not their fault that we used to kill, abuse, and conceal. Please don't eat our furry, feathery, or woolly. Please don't eat our little friends.
durch die Evolution.
not really sure how to change that really. Maybe it's the bitterness I spread into this world. Loneliness is killing me, but that never ends. Never
Make like a dog, smoke some
Okay, so yeah, the two lamps are basically ready, the two little ideas. Time to try them out, but before that I think I have some more things to say about the light bulbs, because yeah, nowadays if you're searching for lamps with this E10 screwing adapter, most of the things which turn up are of course LEDs, and the one incandescent light bulbs remaining usually look a bit ugly, like with a very small glass part which is only as wide as the screw part, and that just looks a bit not very aesthetic. So yeah, over the years, also for my movie, I started searching for really nice bulbs which have a great old school aesthetic and of course are incandescent with a glowing wire inside, because I just want that look. And it gets harder and harder to find this kind of lamps, and luckily I found one supplier which still either manufactures them or resells them, I'm not sure. But yeah, it took quite a bit of effort to find small bulbs, but with a huge glass part and a nice big little wire inside, which you can see glowing and stuff. So yeah, I hope if you ever get something like this, you can appreciate all the thoughts which went into the bulb itself too. And yeah, when I screwed in the bulb, you saw me, I replaced one, and that's because here there's some little tiny crack in the glass, and I think that one probably won't hold up very long, so I'm not going to use it for selling. So yeah, I used a fresh bulb on this one. Yeah, so that's it basically. Let me just one last time polish very softly over the little frame and screws of the idea tag. Okay, so I would call this ready. False D-Channel 2 says, looks great. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is the little socket they're going to work with. And yeah, I will set up a nice little spot somewhere and turn them on for the first time. Fingers crossed it will work. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's it for today's live stream. What a great idea, says Orangene Maus. Hi, nice you tuned in. Yeah, I think that's it for today's live stream. Both of the bulbs are working, that's very nice. False jungle. Oh my god, that was so cool. I love that it really works. Yeah, I love it too. And also no wires or anything. Everything is contained in the brass parts and the screws and wood. Yeah, I used wood as an insulator here for the low powers we're dealing here, like 9 volts. That's totally fine. Nothing is going to burn here. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining in. It was a lovely little live stream today, and thanks for all the comments and interactions. Yeah, I think I will finish this now with a couple more beauty shots of the final products. Honestly, I don't know when I find time to put that in the shop, but if you're interested, you can always write me a message, and at some point in time it will show up in the shop, probably around Christmas. Yeah, okay, so thanks everyone, thanks as well to my music friends. To name them again, I'm playing Billy Rubin, Maurice Trench, Reptile Juice, and Ariel my friend. If you liked something from what you heard, then all the links to their bandcamps is in the description as well. And also thank you very much to HiloadGamer, who helped me setting up the technicalities needed for live streaming. So that's it for today. See you hopefully next month as well, and bye bye.
Kind of sit across the brown bridge.
did I dream something nice? I can't remember. I have to see a doctor for my feet and write a seminar.
Yesterday, I ate pudding made from wheat, and I thought this is the reason why I laugh. But today, I continued. My life is objectively miserable, and there is no reason to be happy apart from the fact that I'm not sleeping under the bridge.